Our yearly ritual and exercise here at the Voice of College Football is to get Stephen M. Smith on here to break down Alabama position by position as we head toward fall camp. So it's that time, Stephen. Appreciate you being here as always. Let's start with the quarterback position. Of course, Bryce Young moves on, one of the legends of the game. Kind of unfortunate he didn't win a national championship. Not his issue, that's for sure. One of the few Alabama quarterbacks, and the first one under Saban, other than Blake Sims, I guess, in that 2014 season. So Bryce Young moves on. And of course, this is the centerpiece of the storylines for August camp is Tyler Buchner, Ty Simpson, Jalen Milroe. Who wins the job? Of course, we don't have much information since the last time we talked to you.
Well, fall camp, Mark, is going to be so much fun to watch that positional grouping right there, that battle right there between Milroe, Simpson, and Tyler Buchner. To me, if I had to put a finger on it, I would go slightest edge Milroe right now, just due to he did see action, live bullets flying a season ago, came in the Arkansas game to replace an injured Bryce Young who hurt his shoulder. Milroe in that matchup, he showed the athleticism with his legs, running the football. Did have 2 total touchdowns in that game, helping Alabama to the 49-26 win. And then the very next week, you host Texas A&M at Bryant-Denny in a huge matchup. Bryce did not play that game. Milroe started that game. And I know everybody's going to look at the 3 turnovers, the 2 lost fumbles, and the interception, and he definitely has to clean those things up. But he did account for 3 touchdown passes as well, helping you win the game 24-20 in a highly sort of pressurized game there. Milroe this offseason, he's been working with trainers. He's taken different receivers with him to Tampa, Florida, to work on the passing game, whether Milroe's doing intermediate short passes, deep ball passes. He's been cleaning up his footwork and working on becoming a full package quarterback this entire summer, putting that work in. But I think him being out there in those moments against Arkansas and Texas A&M, a huge feather in his cap. But at the same time, Ty Simpson is gunning for him right now. Simpson, his whole offseason, has been putting in the work, whether it's been with QB Country, a very huge quarterback facility in Nashville, Tennessee, whether Ty Simpson has been with his dad, Jason, who's a college coach at UT Martin, putting in work there. So Simpson has shown he's a bit more of the passer, but Alabama would like to have at that position, does have some crazy athleticism to his own credit. So I look at right now, Simpson and Milroe, kind of neck and neck here. I would give the edge to Milroe just due to the experience he gained on the field just a season ago. And then for Tyler Buchner, you follow your offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, to Tuscaloosa. But the biggest thing is, Buchner's going to have to learn the system that Milroe and Simpson already know and already kind of have down pat. So the question for Buchner is how quickly can he adjust here to that system, to that learning curve, and win everybody around him, because he's entering a completely different culture. Now, if Buchner was to have arrived for spring ball, this could be pretty different here. But because he did not arrive until the summer, he has got to learn the culture.
Well, certainly, despite the possible progress and development and improvement from the quarterback position from spring practice till now, with those guys working hard, I don't think anyone in any way discounts the running game and its more prominent place, most likely, for this Alabama offense in 2023. Absent ever since Najee Harris left campus, despite just loads of talent at the position, not that bell cow guy that has to carry it 25 times a game. Roydell Williams comes back. Jason McClellan is obviously the lead guy, is the senior. How do you see the running back position shaking out at this point?
That's going to be really intriguing, because as good as McClellan, Roydell Williams, and Jam Miller are, you look at Justice Haynes, the freshman. Here's a guy, Mark, that really has a chance to possibly even be running back 1 here for Alabama. You go back and you look at his high school tape at Buford High School in Georgia. We're talking over 7,000 career rushing yards, 7,574, 95 touchdowns, speed, power, contact balance, runs really well behind the pads, versatility. Coach Saban praised him a lot throughout spring practice, had 3 touchdowns in the A-Day game. And he kind of gives you something that maybe a McClellan or Roydell or a Jam Miller may not be able to give you. And we've all seen the starting running backs for Alabama, each one of them under Nick Saban, they've given something different that makes you go, wow, I never seen that. I never saw that, whether it was Mark Ingram's shiftiness or Trent Richardson's lower strength, or, Derrick Henry was an android, an alien dropped from outer space. And you have, Najee Harris with the hurdling ability. Justice Haynes gives you something a bit different that may propel him to maybe even be running back 1 on the roster. And then you take into account Richard Young, who a lot of people are thinking this might be Bo Scarborough 2.0, with his ability to break tackles and his speed and explosiveness coming from Florida. So this running back room is intriguing. You got 2 freshmen that could very well be running backs 1 and 2, but you got a bunch of upperclassmen that have the experience. So this fall camp, we're going to see from Coach Saban, who gives us the best chance to be able to run the football the way Alabama wants to and have those explosive plays in that run game.
Stephen, you mentioned when we were talking recruiting, some of the work that Eric Wolford does with the young offensive commits coming in on the line. Of course, he's got his hands full molding this 2023 team because he's only got 2 starters back. I would guess that J.C. Latham is the headliner, but plenty of talent to work with. I'm counting like 14 blue chippers. And of course, Caden Proctor is going to have a big spotlight on him as he vies for a position. But there's a lot to be worked through here this August.
It's a lot. You got J.C. Latham, who is the mainstay. Will he play at right tackle or left tackle? That's the big question. For a lot of the time, Coach Saban likes to take his guys that have worked at right tackle for a while. When it comes down to your junior year, the money year, where the pro scouts start looking at you, you flip that guy over to left tackle. So we'll see if JC goes there. You bring back Tyler Booker, who is a phenomenal guard, played both right guard and left guard a season ago. Do you have Booker and JC Latham play together on the left side of the offensive line? See, now both guys have had a friendship since IMG. Or do you keep Tyler Booker at right guard? That'll be an interesting question there. Seth McLaughlin is back at that center position. He does have experience there, along with Darian Dalcourt, who's got experience as a center and or a guard. You got guys like Terrence Ferguson, Jaden Roberts, who have experience in the system. Both guys guards. And then you look at big Caden Proctor at 6'7", 6'8", 354 pounds, a young man that, in my opinion, it should start at right tackle. I think that should be your right tackle. When you look at Caden Proctor, you've got guys like Omas Enganine from Finland, Miles McVay from St. Louis vying for action there. You have Wilkin Formby, who may be the best technician of the young offensive line commits that came into this 2023 class. And then you got Rock Montgomery, who could be the most underrated guy of that entire group. But there is a lot to work through. You're trying to see who's going to be your other tackle opposite J.C. Latham, and who's going to be your other guard with Tyler Booker. But the job that Coach Wolford has done in recruiting these guys and getting back to having those big physical offensive linemen, it's a big deal. It definitely plays a role. And we'll kind of see how these final couple of spots here knock up on the offensive front.
Got Stephen M. Smith on the line from touchdownalabama.com. And of course, his show you catch right here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's In My Own Words, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right here on YouTube, 6:30 Central. I want to remind everyone that you can support the channel by using the Amazon link in the description section when you shop on Amazon. It's the same shopping experience, so you might as well use the link. Doesn't cost you a penny. Well, we've had many conversations, Stephen, about the wide receiver core not being what it was in those prime years when Tua was first emerging with the 4 first-round picks in 2 seasons. But, of course, still plenty of talent there. Ja'Cory Brooks is back. Jermaine Burton's back. And then I see all sorts of candidates for those 3 and 4 positions, even with Trayshawn Holden moving on to Oregon, Isaiah Bond, JoJo Earl, and others. So how do you weed through those names to try to find somebody who's going to going to step up?
Well, that's going to be fun to watch there too, Mark. You look at, yes, you bring back Ja'Cory Brooks and Jermaine Burton. You have a transfer, Malik Benson from JUCO, Hutchinson Community College in Kansas. We saw him in the spring game, 6 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. He kind of has that speed that Jameson Williams had back in 2021 that really helped Alabama right there. So going to keep your eyes on Malik Benson. And then you've got Kobe Prentice, you've got Isaiah Bond, you've got Kendrick Law, you've got Shaz Preston that can make some plays out there if given the opportunity to get out there and shine on the field. Not to mention you bring in some freshmen like Jalen Hale and Jaron Hamilton and Cole Adams as well. So a litany here of receivers to kind of work through and mold through. And I think the biggest thing, Mark, for this group is being able to just consistently catch the football. Last season, a lot of drops, and you saw Bryce Young. Yes, he kept a smile on his face, but you can tell, obviously, he was frustrated when he put the ball right there and the ball was not brought in, and several drops that took place there in multiple games a season ago. And when you break in a brand new starting quarterback and you're trying to build the confidence of that player, you got to catch the football. You got to catch it when it's thrown to you. So that's the big thing there for this group of receivers right here. They can live up to, they have the potential to live up to what Judy and Smith and Ruggs and Waddle were and what they did and what they became. But the number one thing for this group is catch the football. And then number 2, being able to separate off the line of scrimmage. Alabama did not get much separation from its wide receivers in the route running. So when you discuss Brooks and Burton and Prentice and Bond and all of these names, and adding a Malik Benson to this roster here, these guys have got to be able to, upon the snap of the ball, work those routes, get free from these defensive backs, these corners, give your quarterback a chance to allow him to find you and make those plays.
Of course, the tight end position can be a security blanket for a young quarterback. Cameron Latou moves on. Let's see, Thomas Dupre, the Maryland transfer, comes in. How do you see that tight end position molding at this point?
I think Dupre is going to be the leader of the group, the leader of the room. Was not used a lot at Maryland, but in 2 spring scrimmages for the Crimson Tide back in March and April, I heard a ton about how he was utilized within the offense, whether it's as an inline tight end, whether they stretched him out as a receiver, whether they had him at H-back. Dupre can do it all. He can do it all. Coach Saban, very excited about him. And then you've got the 2 guys you signed last year as freshmen that have grown up. That's Amari Nyblack and Danny Lewis Jr. Both of those 2 are going to be featured heavily within the offense. Nyblack, a bit more of a receiver than a tight end. He's getting better with the blocking, but a bit more of a receiver than a tight end at this point. Danny Lewis Jr., kind of your all-around guy, freakish athlete. We're going to see a good bit more of him. And then you still have Robbie Oots and Miles Kitselman, 2 guys who are more so of your blocking tight ends traditionally, but they do possess hands to catch the football if given the opportunity. Going back to the spring, of a tight end's caught 9 passes in the spring. So Tommy Rees really utilized that group, especially in the middle of the field. So Dupree is going to be the number 1 guy, in my opinion. But Nyblack, Danny Lewis, Miles Kitselman, Robbie Oots, they will all fit some way into this scheme.
And of course, Mark, that's CJ Dupree. Keep that one
in
line. All right. Stephen M. Smith, touchdown Alabama, in my own words. It's right here on YouTube, folks. You know where you are. So just keep it right here on YouTube, and you can catch Stephen's show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6:30 Central Time. Well, Stephen, we would love to have you back, break down the defense, and we will do that soon as you know what the deal is. Once we hit SEC Media Days, the time flies, and you're full throttle into the season.
It goes extremely fast.
So enjoy these last few days of summer before you really get to work, and I'm sure you're at work anyway. I know you, so
pretty much.
there is no rest for the weary. All right, Stephen, we appreciate you so much. You have a great day.
You too, Mark.